What if I told you the most powerful thing you could do right now is disappear? Not in some dramatic way, not by vanishing off the grid forever, but by quietly stepping back from everything that doesn't serve you. No announcements, no explanations, just gone. There's something magnetic about mystery. When you stop broadcasting every move, you regain your power. You stop feeding a world that constantly wants your attention, your time, your energy. I'm not talking about running away from life. I'm talking about stepping away from who you used to be, so you can rebuild, redefine, and re-emerge stronger than ever. Disappearing isn't weakness, it's control. It's saying, I'm done explaining, I'll show you when I'm ready. And the truth is, by the time you're ready to show the world, you might not even care anymore. Before we begin, I'd appreciate it if you liked the video. It helps more people discover Stoic wisdom. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss a future video. Now let's talk about how to disappear, how to transform in the shadows, and how to rebuild a life that isn't loud, but powerful. Let's begin. Ever feel like you just need to walk away from everything? There comes a point in life, for almost everyone, where you just feel like walking away. Not because you're giving up, but because you're waking up. Waking up to how noisy, how fake, how draining the world around you has become. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of awareness. You're tired of explaining yourself. You're tired of being watched, judged, and misunderstood. You don't want validation anymore. You want freedom. And that's exactly why the urge to disappear exists. It's your inner voice asking for space. Space to breathe, space to think, space to become. You're not alone in that feeling. Even Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, wrote that people look outward for peace, when all along it lives within. We crave disappearing because we secretly hope that if we can just hit reset, we'll finally become the version of ourselves we've always imagined. And here's the twist. You can, but not by running away. By stepping back, stepping inward, and working in silence. You don't need permission to do it. You don't need applause for starting. You just need to decide. The world will still be here when you return. The question is, who will you be when that happens? So if you've ever had that moment, that late night, where you fantasized about deleting your social media, quitting your job, or just vanishing quietly, know that you're not crazy. You're just evolving, and maybe, just maybe, it's time to listen to that voice. Let me tell you why keeping quiet might be your biggest power move. Silence is uncomfortable at first, especially when you're used to filling every pause with updates, announcements, or little achievements meant to prove you're doing okay. But the truth is, the more you say, the more power you give away. Every time you talk about your plans, your struggles, or your next move, you're inviting opinions, judgments, and distractions into something that's still fragile. Have you ever told someone about a goal and suddenly you feel less motivated to actually do it? That's not in your head. It's real. It's called premature satisfaction. Your brain gets a little reward just from talking about the dream, and that reward can trick you into thinking you've already done the work. That's why silence isn't just mysterious, it's strategic. By holding your plans close, you protect them. By keeping your struggles private, you give yourself the space to actually feel without performance or pressure. There was a time when I shared everything. A new workout plan, a new idea, even pain I hadn't fully processed. And every time someone's reaction would throw me off. Now, I've learned to let the results do the talking when they're ready. Stoic thinkers like Epictetus believed that a wise person speaks only when their words improve silence. And that's something I carry every day now. So here's a simple shift. Learn to pause, to say nothing, to keep your plans sacred. You'll be amazed how fast your life can change when no one knows what you're up to. Take this with you. When you go quiet, the world gets louder trying to figure you out. Let them wonder. You're busy becoming. Here's where things get real, what it means to build in silence. There's a kind of magic that happens when no one is watching. It's quiet. It's often lonely. And yet, it's where the most powerful transformations take place. Working in private, what some call shadow work, isn't about hiding out of fear. It's about choosing to grow without the noise. You see, real change needs stillness. It needs space away from the pressure to perform. And it needs time without commentary or applause. Think about the gym. There's the guy who posts every workout, flexing in the mirror, talking about discipline. But year after year, he looks the same. Then there's the one you don't see, who trains in silence, eats clean, skips the camera, and 6 months later, you run into him, and you barely recognize him. That's the power of private work. It's not just physical either. It's financial. It's emotional, it's spiritual, it's logging off, sitting with your thoughts, writing out your fears, learning something new, falling, getting back up, all without needing to broadcast it. Seneca once said, "Associate with people who will make a better man of you." Sometimes those people are books, other times it's just you. Because in the shadows, there's no one to impress. Just you and the truth, and that's where the real growth happens. So, if you're grinding in silence and no one seems to notice, good. It means you're doing it right. Have you ever worked on yourself quietly, without telling anyone? How did that feel? Let me know in the comments. Your story might inspire someone who's feeling alone in their own process. Let's talk about the trap of needing people's approval. It's wild how much of our life is driven by what people might think. What to wear, what job to choose, what success should look like. We don't even realize it, but we're often living on a stage, playing to an audience that isn't even paying attention. Here's the truth. Most people don't care as much as we think. They're caught up in their own lives, their own insecurities, their own comparison games. But we hand them control anyway. We change our tone to please them. We hesitate before posting. We shrink our dreams so we don't look too ambitious. It's exhausting. And worse, it's fake. That's why disappearing is so freeing. You stop performing, you stop editing yourself for approval, and you finally ask, what do I actually want? Seneca said, until we have begun to go without them, we fail to realize how unnecessary many things are. Validation is one of those things. The moment you stop chasing approval, you'll feel it. Peace, clarity, power. You'll start dressing how you want, saying what you mean, building things that feel right, even if no one claps. I remember when I first stopped caring what people thought about my work. I posted something raw, something real. And for once, I didn't check the likes. I just closed the app and went on with my life. Felt weirdly peaceful. That's your sign. That's when you know you're doing it for you. Take this with you. You don't need to be seen to matter. You don't need to be praised to progress. Validation feels nice, but freedom feels better. Now this is where your life starts getting rebuilt from the ground up. There's a moment in every transformation where things start to feel serious. Not because you shouted your goals from a rooftop, Not because anyone gave you permission, but because you decided that this is it. No more half in, half out. You're either doing it or you're not. And when that switch flips, your entire life starts to restructure around one idea: crush it. That means your habits change. You stop waking up whenever, and you start setting the alarm, not because it's trendy, but because it matters. You plan your meals differently. You stop scrolling in bed. You move your workouts to the morning because you know your evenings are too unpredictable. This isn't about hustle culture, it's about alignment. Your goals start leading your calendar. Your friendships shift. You begin spending time with people who fuel you, not drain you. You might move to a new place. You might let go of old habits, old apps, old identities, and guess what? It'll feel awkward. At first, you'll feel like you're forcing it. You'll even miss your old distractions. That's normal, but if you stick with it, something incredible happens. You start to crave the work, you start to need the structure, and eventually you become unrecognizable, even to yourself. I once knew someone who literally moved into a one-room studio just to live walking distance from the gym. No couch, no TV, just a mattress, a whiteboard, and a blender. 6 months later, he didn't just look different, he thought differently. He had built a version of himself that couldn't have existed in his old lifestyle. That's the secret people miss. It's not about doing more. It's about doing less, with more intention. So here's the takeaway. Design your life around your mission, not the other way around. Ask yourself, is your environment helping you or holding you back? Are your days structured for progress or comfort? Rebuilding your life starts with the decision to stop fitting in and start standing up for the version of yourself you know is possible. You know what's even more powerful than progress? Progress no one sees. There's something sacred about changing quietly. No posts, no announcements, no progress selfies. Just you doing the work every day. It's tempting to share when things start improving. Your body looks stronger. Your mindset is clearer. You've got more money, more peace, more direction. But when you share too early, you give away your momentum. It's like pulling a cake out of the oven halfway through just to show someone it's rising. It falls, and sometimes it never recovers. The world doesn't need to know you're transforming. You do. Epictetus once said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." That's what real transformation looks like. It doesn't need a spotlight. It's loud in private and silent in public. I've seen people build million-dollar businesses without a single social media post. I've seen people go from depressed and lost to strong, calm, and focused without ever telling a soul, because they understood the power of becoming in silence. There's no pressure in the shadows. No one expects anything, which means you can fail, adjust, rebuild without judgment. It's a freedom most people never give themselves, and when the time comes, if you do choose to reappear, it won't be for validation. It'll be because you've become someone worth introducing to the world, or maybe you'll realize you don't need to reappear at all. You're content right where you are. That's real power. Here's the reflection. Don't build your progress for applause. Build it for peace, for pride, for yourself. This part's tough, learning to see pain as your personal trainer. Let's be honest. Disappearing sounds cool until you actually do it, until the silence kicks in, until no one checks in, until it's just you and your thoughts. This is the part most people aren't ready for, because disappearing isn't just about change. It's about discomfort. You'll feel alone. You'll doubt yourself. There will be nights when you question why you started this journey in the first place. But that's where the transformation lives. right in the middle of the pain. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the pain isn't a detour, it is the path. And if you're serious about becoming someone new, you have to rewire how your mind reacts to struggle. You can't keep seeing hardship as something to avoid. You have to start welcoming it, like a training ground. Start asking different questions, not, "Why is this happening to me?" but, "What is this building in me?" Because every hard moment is reshaping your mental armor. Every lonely night is making you more resilient. Every time you keep going without praise, you're becoming someone unstoppable. There's a strange shift that happens when you stop running from pain and start leaning into it. Eventually, you begin to crave the growth it brings. That's when you know you're no longer escaping, you're evolving. So here's your new mindset. Don't wait for the hard times to pass. Use them. Let them carve you into something rare. Rewire your mind to see pain not as punishment, but as the proof that you're on the edge of something powerful. You're not breaking, you're being rebuilt. Funny thing is, once you change, you might not even care to come back. Here's the funny thing about transformation. You might not even want to come back. At first, disappearing feels like a setup. You vanish so you can return one day, stronger, richer, more impressive. Like a movie character making a dramatic entrance, but somewhere along the way, something changes. You get used to the quiet, the simplicity, the freedom that comes with no longer being watched. You stop caring about being seen and start caring about being well. You find peace in your routines, not in applause. You stop craving the dopamine of likes and start loving the stillness of progress no one knows about. And when the moment comes, when you could show the world what you've become, you hesitate. Because suddenly, validation doesn't feel necessary. You're no longer building for others. You're building for you. That's when you realize reappearing isn't required. Maybe you do come back. Maybe you share your work or help someone going through what you've survived. But not because you need to be admired, because you're whole enough to give freely and quietly walk away again. Stoics like Epictetus lived with almost nothing, yet walked the earth with a quiet kind of confidence most men never find. They didn't care about being remembered. They cared about being right with themselves. That's your power too. So if you ever feel guilty for not being visible, for choosing a low profile, or for simply not playing the game anymore, don't. Sometimes the most successful thing you can do is disappear and be completely okay with it. Take this with you. You don't need to reappear to prove you've changed. Real growth doesn't need a stage. It just needs commitment and peace. All right, so where do you go from here? So now you know, disappearing isn't about vanishing from the world. It's about stepping back from who you used to be. It's not isolation, it's intention. You chose silence so you could finally hear yourself think. You chose space so you could stretch and grow. You chose discomfort so you could build real strength. The kind that doesn't depend on being seen, and somewhere in all of it, you changed, not in a flashy, look at me now kind of way, but in a deeper way. The kind of change that's hard to put into words, but easy to feel when you wake up in the morning and know you're no longer the same. You've let go of needing approval. You've stopped announcing every little step. You've learned to work quietly, fall quietly, and rise quietly, and now you get it. The true reward of disappearing was never the big return. It was the peace you found along the way. This is the part where you decide, do you reappear, or do you keep building in the shadows, not because you're hiding, but because you finally found your rhythm? Whatever you choose, do it for you. You've earned that much. If you found value in this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss future insights on Stoicism and self-improvement. And remember, you don't need to be visible to be powerful. You just need to be true to who you're becoming. Keep going. You're closer than you think.